Can you guys see me? Okay. So there may not be live video during these sessions. It depends on the session panelists. Beth is in the side chat there, so she may not have video going, but we can chat with Beth in the taskbar sidebar there, and I might try to bring up some pictures for you guys. I have some Boardwalk photos on the CSJ website, and I can maybe I can do like a screen share and show you some of the photos that we have while we just ask questions and talk about Boardwalk hermit crabs and how we all feel about those. That's okay, Mary. I don't mind. I'll sit here and talk. So I've got two screens, and my camera's on this screen, and the chat's on this screen. So maybe I can switch it here and bring. Now if I do that, it's going to play back towards me. So let me see if I can switch my screens around so it looks more like I'm looking at you guys. So we don't really have a presentation. The open session is just kind of a chat session. It's a chance for you guys to talk to Beth and anyone else who's been to the Boardwalk. Beth goes down to the Jersey Shore every August for the Miss Crustacean pageant. She takes care sheets and information, and she goes to all of the shops and talks to them every year about trying to improve the care of the crabs in the store. And then she goes to the hermit crab races and to the Miss Crustacean pageant. She hands out care sheets to people that are attending those events to try to help get at least correct care information into the hands of the people that are buying crabs as vacation souvenirs, which you shouldn't do. When you try unplugging and replugging your webcam and see if you can get it to register that way. While Beth is trying, go ahead and drop any questions you have out there, and I'm going to pull up some of the stuff from CSJ that has pictures, and we'll talk a little bit about the pet cycle. I'm just searching CSJ to bring up. I think, so we've got a couple here. Let me open that one and that one. I'm not sure what that one. This is kind of a perfect topic for this time of year, because so many people are at the Boardwalk and are buying hermit crabs. Most of you probably know that we did a fundraiser to place an ad on the Boardwalk, and we raised the money, and then COVID hit, and we decided that it wasn't the best use of our money to run the ad this year with COVID impacting vacation and travel. So the ad will go up next year, and it will run all summer on the Boardwalk featuring our beloved Carol and John. The stores on the Boardwalk are not interested in giving out crab information. They're not interested in whether or not your crab survives. They're not interested in what you do with that crab once they get your money. They want to sell you the plastic container. They want to sell you the stupid painted shells and the toxic food. It is 100% money driven. They're advertised as a souvenir, a throwaway toy for your kids for the summer. The pet store doesn't care, at least at the Boardwalk. They don't care. They're souvenir shops, and they don't care that your crab is likely not even going to survive the trip home, let alone survive the summer. Because guess what? You'll come back next year, and your kids will want another crab, and you'll buy it. Money, 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 money is what the Boardwalk is about. Don't buy crabs down there. Don't do business with those people. They don't care about your crabs. They don't care about how mad you are when it dies, because if you buy another crab and you gave them money, they got what they wanted. It's not very politically correct, but it's true. They're not there to help your crabs survive. They're there to make money off of you. And that's why they use painted shells, because they attract children. And then your kids are like, oh, I want SpongeBob, or I want Superman. Your kid probably doesn't necessarily care about the hermit crab so much, but the shell attracts them. And they tell you, oh, it's super easy. You just put it in this little plastic box, throw it a pellet, throw it some water. It'll be fine. And so you do. But the crab dies. And your kids are sad. Yeah, they just want you back every summer to buy another crab. Okay, so I'm just looking for... That one is 2017. That's 2015. That has some photos in it. Some of these photos are kind of small, so it's a little harder to see. Let me see what's in here. So I'm gonna... Beth, if you can't get your camera working, you can just type right here in chat, just like you're doing. I'm gonna switch to a screen share, and I'll just flip through some of the photos that we have on CSJ that you've provided in previous years. Well, the store tells them that they're safe. Those shells are safe and they're non-toxic. And oh, the crabs love those bright colored shells. I'm trying to try not to name names here, but there are other companies that are online posting about how crabs choose those fun painted shells, and that's all a lie. They're forced to wear those painted shells. There's a video that shows what happens to crabs, how they're processed. The wild crabs are brought into a processing center, and someone sits there all day taking a live crab in a natural shell. They place it in a vise. They crack the natural shell. They take the naked crab and literally throw it into a bin that's full of nothing but painted shells. If the crab takes a painted shell, it has a chance to survive. If it doesn't take a painted shell right away, it gets crushed, it gets killed, it dies. The number of dead crabs that are seen in those facilities is staggering. It will make you physically ill if you watch the video and see how many crabs die just during this process. So it's not even, I don't care what you painted the shell with. I don't care that maybe the paint is safe, but what you're doing is wrong and inhumane. Cracking their shell destroys the natural shell. We are over collecting shells worldwide and causing a shortage of shells for wild crabs. So you're destroying their natural shell for no reason. And then you're painting another shell and destroying it, because the moment that crab is offered a natural shell, they will drop the painted one. Yeah, and so they're kept in wire cages at the Boardwalk, and they'll cling to the wire. Well, they just crank them and snap their leg tips off to get them off of the wire. Vicky, it depends on where you go and what their laws are. Beth has tried, and the mayor will only do so much because he cares about his businesses on the boardwalk making money. And if you're interfering with their profits, they're not going to allow you there. You're going to have a fight. Okay, so I'm going to do a screen share. Hopefully you can still hear me once I do this. Okay. So this is from 2015 when Beth was at the convention. Let me see if I have. I'm going to put the link into chat. So this is just from the boardwalk, people watching the Miss Crustacean pageant at Ocean City, New Jersey. This is the table that they have the hermit crab races on. I don't know. I don't think I can make that bigger. Maybe if I zoom. Oh, too much zoom. There we go. So yeah, they place all the crabs out in the center of that table. And I think they put something over them, and the crabs are all numbered, and then they lift up the container and the crabs just madly scramble, and everybody thinks, oh, they're having fun. No, those crabs are stressed, and they're like, oh my God, I'm exposed. I'm out in the open and I need to find shelter right now because A, something is going to eat me, or B, I'm going to dry out from the heat and die. So the winner is the first one to like reach the outer part of the circle. And these hermit crab races are common all over the country, not just in beach communities. There are places in Minnesota and other states that order hundreds of crabs from wholesalers to have these races at corporate events and other local events. And then they try to get people to take the crabs home afterwards. They don't get any care information. Not all the crabs survive. The company, the wholesaler that sends the crabs up there doesn't care what becomes of the crabs when the races are over. So there's another up close. That looks like the trophies and ribbons, people in the stands. That is Suzanne Muldowney, who I happen to know a little bit about, and she sings the Miss Crustacean song. There's other photos. King of Klutz crab races. Yep. That one, you can't see the diorama. There's other pictures that I have on here that show the dioramas a little bit better. So the Miss Crustacean pageant basically is the kids decorate some sort of box or something, create an elaborate scene, and then place their crabs in it and parade around with them. You sent me an instant message on what, Facebook? Here, so this one here shows a little bit better the elaborate setups that they create and parade around with the crabs in the heat. Beth, maybe you can get with Scott, and Scott can help you with the camera. I can't really troubleshoot your camera and talk and play the photos. Let me see. If you go to your private messages on Hopin, you can find Scott and send him a private message. Thank you, Courtney. So Crab Street does have an Instagram. Yeah, it's just at Crab Street. We also started one for CrabCon. I haven't posted a lot there, but I do have one. So, and I know Beth has said that there's one woman that wins the Miss Crustacean pageant almost every year, and she will never take any kind of care information. So, I mean, that if they wanted to do the little decorations, that's fine. But putting the crabs on there and marching them around in the hot sun and being rolled around and picked up and poked at is very stressful. They are a prey animal and they don't know that they're on display for a beauty pageant. They don't know if you're trying to eat them. They don't know where they're going to go to get out of the sun and cool off. She wasn't there last year. Scott is our backup technical support and is Mary's son. So he might be able to help you get your camera working. Let's see what we have on this other one here. So this one here shows some pictures from the beach shops. This picture right here makes me so mad. All those painted shells. So for every crab in there, there's a destroyed natural shell. All of them were forced to move into these painted shells or die. Yeah, there's so many in there. Because they're on the beach, there's probably some amount of humidity, but if they're in an air-conditioned store, air conditioning burns off the humidity. So they're cold and they're dry. They're overcrowded. Kids are picking them up and dropping them, tossing them around. You know how some children behave. There's a nasty sponge in there. That water does not look clean. It's a shallow dish with a nasty sponge that's likely full of bacteria and not being sanitized every day. They have no shelter. They don't want them in the shelter. They want them out where the kids can look at the shells and pick them up. Oh, Scott's not available. Okay. Beth, the other thing you might try is go into your computer settings and make sure that, like, does your webcam work outside of Hopin? They have very little substrate in here. They don't want them digging down. Most of the cages don't even have substrate. Like this one, I guess, is a slightly bit better because it has substrate, but most of them don't even have substrate. There's another close-up of one of the entries. And some of these places, they give you the hermit crab if you buy all the garbage. So this is a more typical setup. Wire bottom, pellets, nasty water, nasty sponge. They're all huddled in their shells, trying to survive. More of the same. Don't give these people your money. If you care about hermit crabs at all, don't give your people these money. So that's pretty typical of the crabs. Hanging onto the wire. $0.99. And it's going to cost you at least $150 when you get home to set up the tank. Free crab. Vicki, we have all kinds of resources on CSJ. We even made up a letter explaining to them you could actually make more money in your store if you sold the right products and gave out care information, but they don't care. Because guess what? If you tell somebody that this pet is going to live 40 years and going to cost you $150 to set up, you're not going to buy one and take it home on vacation. You're just not. So they don't want you to know that. And most people don't know what they're getting into when they go down to the shore. They don't know that they're being lied to. It's not. We don't blame you for not knowing, but we try really hard to discourage you from doing it in the first place, because these people just don't care. This is just another product for them to make money off of. It's just another sale. They just literally don't care that it's a live animal that is suffering in their care and going to go home and suffer and then die. Yeah, they market them just as a toy. It's not even they don't consider it a live animal. And you want to rescue them. I know that you do. But for every one that is purchased, another one will be ordered. If at the end of the season, these vendors have tanks full of crabs that they couldn't sell, they won't order as many the next year. And if the next summer, the smaller order still doesn't sell, they'll order less the next year. And when it stops becoming profitable for them to order hermit crabs, they'll stop ordering them. So you might be saving this one, but you're dooming thousands of others to death. One vendor alone admitted to shipping several 100,000 crabs in one season, and they are just one wholesaler and just shipping to one beach community. It's basically the same at every store. Painted shells, wire cages, death boxes. It's terrible. Let me see if I can find the... I know we're about to run out of time here. There are places that definitely just throw the crabs out at the end of the season. Yeah. Sometimes they'll try to find somebody who will take them, but typically they just throw them out. So here is, I'm going to back off my Zoom just a little bit. This is why you shouldn't buy a crab on vacation. So our crabs start out their life on the beach as a wild hermit crab in their perfect environment. They're collected, stored, and shipped without food or water. In some cases, most cases, they're subjected to being pulled from their natural shell and forced into painted shells. And then they land in a pet store in the wrong conditions, cold, dry, wrong food. And then you buy them and are sold all of the wrong products and bring them home and continue to keep them in what the pet store told you to keep them in. And then they die. And then you go buy another one, and another crab is taken off the beach, and the cycle starts over. And around the wheel of death we go. Mike lives in Florida, very near a major seller of hermit crabs and hermit crab supplies, and their crabs escape all the time. And there are huge piles of destroyed shells outside of their warehouse where they're cracking the shells and putting them in the painted shells. This is why captive breeding is so important. The only way to stop this nonsense is to stop the need for wild capture. If you all stop buying wild crabs and adopt captive bred babies instead, we'll kill this market. And we can do this. There's no money. They'll stop ordering crabs. The natural shells are so beautiful. They really are. That's okay. I don't mind. This is something this is one of those things I'm really passionate about. I just don't want to get myself into legal trouble and start naming names about who I really don't like. Got a little emotional, didn't I? If you need help finding the resources on CSJ because you want to copy off some of the care sheets and the information that we have for the pet stores, just hit me up on Facebook or on Instagram and I'll get you a link to where to go and download. We tried to make it easy. I tried to prepare everything ahead of time. So all you have to do is print it out, copy it, and take it. You don't have to talk to them if you don't want to. You can just give them the paper and be like, I'm not okay with what you're doing and I'm not going to go away until something changes. Thanks, Heather. Yeah, FMR is another one. FMR has been around a long time, and they're probably one of the biggest offenders in the United States. I've had hermit crabs since around 2003 or 2004. And I started out with a 10-gallon tank and gravel in the bottom because that's what I saw at the pet store. They didn't even give me any information except that stupid care sheet from FMR, which is still floating around, which is why people bathe their crabs. Because if you don't give them deep enough water, they can't rehydrate, so you forcefully bathe them, which is just a whole stressful, unnecessary thing to do. Yeah, Mr. Krabs recently got into a little kerfluffle with us online because he tried telling people that captive breeding was bad because he's in the business to make money too. I don't care if he got himself a nonprofit certification. He is in business to make money. What motivates him? Money. Yeah, FMR is the information they hand out at the pageant too. FMR doesn't care. So I think we got 2 minutes. YouTube and Instagram are really, really terrible places for incorrect information. There's a lot of, unfortunately, it's mostly children on there who think that they're giving correct information. They mean well, but they just don't know that they were lied to and misled. So they're just repeating incorrect information because they want to help people. Like, I get that they're trying to help. They just don't know that they were misinformed. So if you go to the beach this summer, don't buy a hermit crab. Sharing correct care on social media is great. Keep doing that. Okay, I'm going to turn off my screen share. Hopefully my red eyes go away. That was close. You almost got to see me ugly cry. I do love my crabs. I think FMR stands for Florida Marine Research, but there's also another Florida Marine Research that's actually legitimate. Okay, it's time for our next talk. I have to go. Bye. See you on the stage.